Good morning, everyone. It is 9:29 right now. Welcome back to CW Iowa Live. Lou and Jackie here, along with a good friend of ours, Rebecca Herold is here. We know her better as the privacy professor, Jackie. And boy, there's so many things.
As you say, I don't even know where you're going to start, but we always want to remind people of the little things they can do to protect themselves when it comes to the internet. But what specifically do we want to break down today?
Yes, well, there are so many things, and this is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, October, so it's a good time to talk about these
good
things.
time to talk about this, especially with what happened around here to one or actually several of our schools, what some of the rumors were saying.
Yes, so last week we heard about those text messages coming into schools, Johnston schools and other schools in Iowa, and the group that they believe did that is called the Dark Overlord. So a Marvel Comics fan, I guess, as far as that goes. But the Dark Overlord has been out there and active for a few years. The same group was out in about 2015, and they were hacking things like PlayStation, Xbox, and so on. And what they would do is they would try to extort money from those who used it. So, you know, they saw that they could get some money from this. In 2016, they hit a lot of healthcare organizations with ransomware. So we've talked about ransomware before. So
so what was the purpose of this one here? Because we didn't hear of any money wanting to be exchanged.
Yes, so now it seems like they're going beyond getting money. Maybe they've gotten enough money now, they just want to cause havoc and mayhem, because right now a lot of these types of hacking groups want to get people's attention, and they want to make a statement of some sort and maybe point out that perhaps schools are not secure. I mean, they hit Montana, though, schools last month, and they tried to actually get them to pay $150,000. But they didn't pay. But what they're trying to do is they're going to soft targets, because soft targets in the digital world means these are organizations that historically have lacked security, or they're such complex types of organizations that there's a lot of weak points. And when you look at a school system, there's a lot of weak points. I mean,
like, for example, what do you mean weak point?
So the school itself has an obligation under FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, to have strong security. So the school systems have to be pretty rigorous, but just think about all of the other actors, all the other people who also have access to all that school data. You have different types of vendors that provide services to the schools. So a lot of people talked about Infinite Campus. That's what's used in 90 schools in Iowa and here in the Des Moines area too, and that's what sends messaging out to students. It's used in 45 different school systems, or 45 states throughout the U.S., and it has 7.9 million student records out there. So that's another target. Now, there's no evidence that anything happened through them, but that's an example of where you're getting other players in. Where's another player that might come into bringing a vulnerability?
What about a teacher that has access?
Teachers. You have teachers, you need to make sure they have secure access, that they don't share their IDs. The students have access to a lot of things. Here's an area where I see a lot of security and privacy mistakes made. A lot of groups like the PTAs, the PTOs, the different groups for band and art and so on, where the parents are doing good things, they're communicating, they're putting up social media web pages, and they're putting information out there. And I've seen too many times where these groups who want to do good things have accidentally uploaded such things as the entire directory of all the kids in the band and all their, access information, or all of the phone numbers and so on. And see, that's what the Dark Overlord was using to send out these text messages. They had phone numbers. So where did they get those phone numbers?
That's what parents are asking.
And because of the complexity, we may never know, because it's very easy to send text messages and make it look like it came from basically anywhere, because there's so many different anonymous text messages. So it's really up to all of us to make sure that we practice good personal data digital hygiene. I've used that term before several times on here. So you need to make sure you're very aware of what you're putting online and making sure that what you're putting out there isn't something that could be used maliciously. You know, these text messages that came into people were very scary because they said such things as, oh, you have such a darling child, you know, and so people read that in their text message and they're like, how did they know that we had a child? Well, maybe they got that data from a PTA database or file that happened to have been posted online. That's one possibility. We don't know how it happened. But the thing is, if you see those types of messages, don't engage with the criminal. That's what they want you to do. Now record it, keep track of it, report it. If people are making threats against you for harm or for killing you, you know, that is something that's likely a felony. So get the police involved and record it. You know, I like to record phone calls too because the phone calls will come in as well. So, you know, just hang up. It's okay to be rude. If somebody calls you and starts saying nasty things to you, hang up, but record it if you can so you have evidence and so on. So, you know, all these things are something you need to keep in mind in today's digital world because we have digital that's coming into our physical world in this way, and that's just the way it is. So we all need to be extra aware of what we're doing.
Makes sense. So as we are more aware, and you gave some great advice as far as you know, parents trying to be more active and more informative in communicating. We also want to make sure we're safe. So what are some basic things we can do when we have the Equifax data breach going on? When Yahoo was saying years ago that we're adding more names to that list, what can we do to make sure we're staying safe, even if something happened months, years ago?
Exactly. So what you need to do is to limit the data that you're putting out there for the public to find or that you're sharing with others. I mean, the AOL Instant Messenger or AIM, you know, it's sadly going away. It was the first in 1997. I signed up for it then. But think about all of the people who have probably signed up for that. When you signed up for it, what did you give them? You gave them your name, your phone number.
The basics,
The basics. Now, if you haven't used it for a while, guess what? All of that data.
As I say, is it still just hanging there?
It's still there. It's still there. Go out. If you ever stop using a service, if you ever stop using an app, delete all your information, uninstall your app. You need to make sure that you go back and pick up all of those digital crumbs that you left of yourself everywhere. So that's a very important
because that one was really popular. The Net Zero one was out for a while. That one was really popular too. And just wondered about those. And we haven't touched either one of those. We were on both of those services. So you're saying we should go back and try to get back in and then just wipe everything out.
And wipe it out. Remember, just last year, MySpace was hacked, and everybody's like, well, why are they hacking MySpace? Well, look at all of the people's information that was out there. People signed up, then they didn't keep using it. So there was all this valuable data, and you know, when you sign up for those sites, another thing to keep in mind is, if you're signing up for someplace and they don't need your real city or your real birth date in order to do business with them, and social media doesn't. I mean, I've told you before on Facebook, I live in Antarctica, you know, on Elephant Island. They don't need to know where I actually live because I like to put a lot of bad data out there about myself for sites that don't really need it. Of course, it's accurate for things like insurance and credit, but if you're going online and putting your data, you know, think about that. You don't have to be honest with
you look
data.
really good for 203.
Thank you. So not only that, but I also wanted to talk about the physical aspects too, because it's becoming more popular. You know, when people's phone battery is getting low, what do they want? Oh, where can I charge it? Where's an open USB port?
Exactly.
Skimmers are being used in USB ports, a lot in airports and hotels. There's little devices like this that you can get, and some people might think this is a USB storage drive.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but it's not. What this does is this has hardware that keeps skimmers in USB ports from actually getting and draining your phone. So like with all this school data, what if somebody had a laptop and they were traveling and they had all of the school's records and then they plugged in their charger without a skimmer protector and there was a skimmer on there, it could have taken all of that data from the laptop. and there's nothing to tell you that they did.
Right.
So I would recommend.
Where do you get those?
You can get those at any
anywhere?
computer. Yeah, you should be able to get them.
And what are they called?
These are for your USB skimmer protectors. So basically, you put your part in here and then plug it into the USB charger.
What does that cost you?
Oh gosh, it's just a few dollars now. I mean, they used to be a lot more expensive, but some places like this one, I was given it free at a vendor booth, you know, when you go to different types of conferences. So, you know, I would recommend for National Cybersecurity Awareness Month that you, it's worth the investment, and that way you don't have to worry about it, because again, these are becoming more prolific in all of the airports and hotel lobbies.
Probably goes along with even on your phones too, if you're plugging the phones in.
Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, anything that has a USB connection to charge with, this will also help protect it from getting your data. So it's very easy to suck the data right out of your phone if you use those USB devices to charge with.
All right, something to think about. And you're always giving great tips and advice. If people are hopefully staying more aware right now with everything going on, but they need to continue that awareness.
Yes.
Where can they get more details?
Yes, they can go out to my website, simbus360.com. This is my business site where I help a lot of organizations. And through that site, too, if you want to sign up for my monthly Privacy Professor tips, I've been putting them out since 2007. And so I try to keep up to date on all these new things going on so everyone can stay aware of it.
That works.
Sounds
All right.
good.
So stay safe, everybody, and don't use the same password for everything. We have to say that every time.
And use two-factor authentication.
Exactly. Wonderful.
I could keep going on.
So many tips.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.